says poinsettias are only for Christmas? Today I'm using the Tim Holtz Tattered Poinsettia Bigz die to create a stunning winter card that's perfect for any occasion. With rich Recollection cardstock, a delicate cover plate from This Calls for Confetti, and a Copic marker, I'll show you how to give this classic flower a fresh, seasonal twist. Let's rethink winter crafting together. Hey everyone, it's Lean from ColoradoLean.com. Welcome back to the craft room. So for today's card, I'm going to be using a piece of Recollections 110-pound cream color cardstock for the card base. When I initially found the inspiration for today's card, it was a Christmas card. I will go ahead and pop a picture up here on the screen for you. And because I didn't get it done before Christmas, and I'm doing it as something other than a Christmas card, I wanted to find a different color background to use. So I went to ChatGPT and I asked what color would go really well with a gold metallic and a red flower. And of course, the original answer that came back was dark green, surprise, and a deep charcoal. The answer also indicated that you could use a soft cream color to add warmth and elegance without competing with focal image. So that's where I came up with this idea here. As always, I will be making an A2 size card that will end up being 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and score this on my Martha Stewart scoreboard at 4 1/4 inches. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our flower. I have cut this out of 2 different shades of red cardstock. This Recollections red came in a pack of 5 different colors, or 5 different shades of red. And I just want to take a moment to show you this Bigz die. This is a older alterations die from Tim Holtz. And the way you run this through the machine, through my Big Shot machine, is you just need 2 cutting plates. I am using my well-loved and well-used scrapbook.com magic mat that is sized for the Big Shot. And you would put your paper down, and then you would put your Bigz die down, and then another cutting plate on top. And this is just a Sizzix cutting plate. And then this is the sandwich that you run through the machine. So because the Bigz die is so thick, you will take your base plate out and run it through. Okay, so I have 2 different choices for my flowers, or I could actually make 2 different flowers. And the question is, which color do I want on the bottom? And I think I want this beautiful dark red on the bottom. And then we'll layer it with a lighter shade in the medium. And then we'll put the darker red on the top layer. This by itself would be absolutely beautiful. However, I'm going to deepen the color with my Copic marker. I will be using R59 for this. And I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I'm just going to go from the base of the petal to the tip of the petal in long strokes. And then not only will this deepen the color and give it a richer color, but because I'm not blending it, the pen lines will add to the dimension of the flower. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed right through this for you so you don't have to sit there and watch me color. All right, the coloring is finished, and I just wanted to bring in 2 of the layers of the original color just to show you how much this color changes with that Copic marker. And it just adds a richness and a depth to it that I think is just going to be extremely gorgeous. Okay, to shape my flowers, I am going to be using the Susan Tyranny Coburn flower shaping kit that my husband and son got me for Christmas. Thank you, boys. I love this. And this comes with absolutely everything you would need. Today I will be using the molding pad, the tool-in-one, and a couple of the tools. So if you're not familiar with these Spellbinders tool-in-one, this is pretty darn amazing. You can put 2 different tools on, one on either end. And I'm going to be putting on the medium and large ball stylus out of the shaping kit. And then the other tools that come in here are a small ball stylus, a leaf tool, as well as a large and a small loop tool. So the way this works is you pull this little collar back, and I'm going to get some better pictures of this for you. But in here is a little ball. And on our tools, we have little notches. So we want to line the notches up with that little ball. And then we will slide it in how far we want it. And then make sure the collar is back up in place. And then the tool is locked into place. First time I did this, I didn't know that part. And this medium ball stylus went all the way in. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? So that was definitely a bit of a learning curve there. So now I have both of them in there and they are ready to go. So I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of fancy flower shaping like I did with my Christmas rose a couple weeks ago. I'm just going to be going from the tip of the flower, or from the tip of the petal to the base of the petal, just in long strokes. And that's all I'm going to do. So this will give it a little bit of dimension. And the same with the Copic coloring. It's just going to leave almost vein lines in there without actually drawing them in. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up shaping these 3 layers, and I will be back with you. All right, now that my flowers are shaped on one side, I'm going to turn them over, and I'm just going to gently go around the center to kind of flatten them out just a little bit. I don't want to add a whole lot of extra dimension this way, because I do want to try and keep this flat enough that I can put in a regular card, or I'm sorry, a regular envelope. All right, so I did get out my other flower shaping pad. I don't want to mess that one up with my new one up with glue. And I do have the reverse tweezers from Susan's kit. And to put these together, I'm just going to put a little bit of art glitter glue in the center. And then I will offset my petals. And then hold it in place with my small or my medium ball stylus, just until the glue takes hold. And again, for the small layer, I will offset the petals and then glue that into place. All right, and there is a close-up before I set this aside to dry. I think you can see a little bit of the difference between the bottom and the top layer with the middle layer that's a little bit lighter. I think that's going to look very beautiful on our finished card. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our cover plate. Today I'm going to be using the Elongated Ovals A2 cover plate from This Calls for Confetti. This not only cuts out the design, but it also embosses some really beautiful lines around the ovals. A couple weeks ago on Instagram, I entered a giveaway and I won. Yay. Thank you so much, Liz, for that. This is one of the items that I purchased with my gift card that I won, and I'm going to do a video soon on some more of the items that I bought. For the cover plate itself, I'm going to be using Recollections gold foil cardstock paper. This is 65 pounds from Recollections. And again, I do apologize for the glare, but it is too pretty not to use. Because this curves really bad, and I've had this sitting under some books for a while now, I'm going to use both 1/8 inch score tape as well as my art glitter glue. And I'm going to put this around the outside of the die, or of the cover plate, as well as down the middle of the ovals. All right, so I have my 1/8 inch score tape on there, and as always, I'm going to add a line of art glitter glue over the top. And the reason I do this is because there's a little bit of wiggle room time with the wet glue. And in case I don't get this lined up correctly the first time, which if you've been here for any amount of time, you know I do not. This gives me a chance to arrange it correctly before the glue completely takes hold. And to help me with my alignment, I'm going to bring in my mini Misty, because you get all the help you can, right? All right, so I have my card base lined up in the corner, and I will line up the cover plate on top. And there we go. That worked out very well. All right, and there is our card base. All right, so to add a little bit more to the card, not that it needs it, but you know, sometimes more is better. I did use my Elizabeth Craft Designs and Susan's Garden Club Baby's Breath die. Unfortunately, this die is no longer available, and I have done some research into it, and I cannot find where Susan has redone this with her Spellbinders collection. So I will do my best to find something that would be comparable to this, and I will list that down below. But for now, let's go ahead and figure this out. So my card opens on this side, and I'm going to place my poinsettia right about there. So let's see. We'll put one sprig there, and then I will probably cut this one apart. probably as I'm cutting it apart. I will cut that one apart. And let's see, how do I want to arrange this? Yeah, I'll put this sprig right here in the corner. And then maybe one more down here. Maybe something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and clip off some of this. That stem is just a little bit too long. And I think I want it about like that with the flower in the middle. So let's go ahead and get this glued down. So again, I'm going to hold it with my reverse tweezers, and I will add glue to all of the ends. I want this to be completely glued down, so I won't be doing any shaping on this. Now this would have looked really pretty in a rose gold, or even if I had a silver metallic, that would have been pretty as well. All right, and then we will figure out exactly how we want our poinsettia in there. And I like to make sure that everything is tucked inside the card. I don't want anything hanging over the edge. So we'll place it right about there. And again, I'm just going to put glue in the center of the flower. And then I will hold that in place with my stylus again. And add just a little bit more of something in the center of the flower. I did want to show you this. In the die, you get this little flower center. Personally, I don't know what to do with that. It looks kind of weird to me. So, especially if you do any kind of flower shaping. So I file that in file 13 because it does nothing for me. So instead today I'm going to use some pops of color from scrapbook.com. This color is Orange Creamsicle, and it is a beautiful color. Let me find a little piece of scratch paper and just test this on. I have also used a gem in the center of these poinsettias, which is very pretty. And I will post a link to a Christmas card that I made with this flower and a gem in the center. Okay. I haven't used these very often, so we'll see how these turn out. So I'm just going to put a few of these drops in the center. The nice thing about the pops of color is even if I get them right next to each other, they're not going to bleed into each other. So that is nice. So there we go. So it is the next morning. I did let this card sit overnight so that the pops of color could dry completely. I should have taken a few pictures along the way because as it was drying, the drops seemed to shrink back a little bit. Because of that, I did fill in a few of the empty looking spaces. I also created a very simple and understated birthday sentiment with my Kaisercraft Occasions stamp set. And I did stamp that with my Gina K amalgam ink in the color Obsidian. And there you have it, a gorgeous winter card featuring the Tattered Poinsettia Bigz die, perfect for any occasion. You can keep it seasonal or at an anniversary or a birthday sentiment like I've done here. This versatile flower proves it's so much more than a holiday staple. I hope this inspires you to think outside the box with your crafting. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll know when I put up the next video. And be sure to share your creations in the comments. I'd love to see how you make this idea your own. Bye for now.